When I was around 22, I moved out of my parents' house. They lived in a nice two-story right on the outskirts of two towns, so even though their address is in one city, they didn't live in either. The details of me moving out of the house were what you would expect. Time to get out on my own, disagreements over personal life choices, things like that. My very first apartment was a small one-bedroom, one-bath apartment that made up about half the basement of a house further into the town, on a road directly off the highway, next to a BP and AutoZone. And even though it was a dead end that seemed a bit off the beaten path considering the rather bohemian nature of the neighborhood's aesthetic, it was by no means isolated. The guy who lived upstairs was the landlord's son, and the landlord was my mother's boss. He knew me from church and gave me an outstanding deal. All the stars aligned for me to get this place, from the deal to the convenient location, and I was super hyped to finally have a place of my own. For someone who paid the regular amount of monthly rent, the place left something to be desired. The ceiling tiles had cracks, the old and decrepit lighting would only occasionally work. The blinds were shoddy, there was no heat, and the wiring in the bedroom was faulty. However, for my deal, there was no capacity for me to complain, as I couldn't in my wildest dreams find a place that was cheaper. It was near some good and cheap retailers, and the landlord and guy upstairs were nice. Everything was awesome. Except for the bathroom window. When the guy who last lived in the apartment moved out about 5 months prior, they repainted all the rooms and everything connecting to the walls a solid white color. This included the window frame in the bathroom. I'm a human being, and when I do my business, sometimes it pays to cut open the window, as odor-eating spray and scented candles only go so far. Well, when I tried to open the bathroom window, though, it wouldn't budge. I had checked the locks and the possibility that something was blocking it, and everything seemed fine. For a little while, I couldn't even get it to move the slightest fraction. Finally, I contacted my landlord, who then told his son about the faulty window. He and I agreed that it was most likely due to the paint, which sealed it shut. Since the window was sealed shut, I never saw any point to locking it. Also, my landlord had the keys to my apartment to go in and do things like exterminator work and checking the plumbing. So I wasn't hugely surprised one day when I came home to find that the window was dislodged and open wide. Elated, I called my landlord and thanked him for dislodging it. His response was one of confusion, as he knew nothing of the window. So I called the guy who lived upstairs. He told me that he had been out of town for about a week. Panic set in, and I, biting my lip, looked about my place, traveling slowly into my room to grab the gun that I kept on the nightstand. Nothing was stolen. In fact, at first, I thought that nothing had even been touched. Until I saw the dust patterns. Everything in my apartment. From instruments to shoes to furniture had been disturbed and moved, though most of it was only moved just a fraction of an inch. I lived in that apartment for another full year after that. Since it had been dislodged, the window in the bathroom could be opened, but I never opened or left it, or any other window, unlocked. Again.